Assalamualaikum. Welcome to day 9 of Performance Management 15 Days Revision Crash Course. And today is Risk and Uncertainty Day. Okay, so here we are going to go through basic concept, research techniques, simulation, expected value, sensitivity, payoff table, and decision tree. This chapter is mostly you have to do lots of calculations. Okay, you can expect lots of calculation and a very important chapter if you look from the point of your exam, because this topic is always tested. Okay, so you have to be prepared to discuss all the techniques that is available for managing risk, and as I told you, you should be able to calculate. So you have to discuss and maybe calculate business. All businesses face risk. Okay, that's why you should know the techniques to manage those risks. All the businesses, you cannot say there is any business in this world that has 0% risk. It doesn't happen. Some risk will be there. Then what is risk that we are talking about? Risk means when your future returns this, there is a variability. Okay, it varies. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. It doesn't stay constant. There's a variability in the future returns. That is risk. And some distinguish between risk and uncertainty. They are different. Risk means there are some probabilities that they assign to it. Okay, that whatever you have expected, outcome might be different than that. Some probability, let's say 30%, what you have predicted might be not true. Okay, uncertainty on the other hand is used where this is not possible. You cannot give probabilities to uncertainty. Suddenly it will happen. You cannot even predict also. They are very uncertain. Risk, you know, okay, you can assume, you can put some estimate. Uncertainty is not like that. Okay, now that's why we don't say manage uncertainty, we say manage risk. So the method is research technique, you research about it, simulation, expected value, sensitivity analysis, maxi-max, maxi-min, and mini-max regret. These are the three terms you should know, and the difference between those three. I repeat, maxi-max. Okay, both are max-max. Then maxi-min. Then mini-max regret. Now, first, we'll go through the research technique. There are two types of research. One is known as desk research. You can also call it primary research. Sorry, desk research is secondary research. You can say secondary research. That means information collected already, someone has collected it, from them you are collecting it. That's why it is secondary sources, right? Like you are collecting information from press article. But information that is in press article, those press people might have collected it on the field. For them, it's a primary source, but from them then you are collecting. Okay, it is something that is very cheap and quick because you can easily access it, and cheaper also. But remember, it could be out of date and might not be relevant for you, might not even be accurate also. Now the next research is field research. This is information collecting from primary source. You are the one who is going and researching it out. Okay, this is divided into two types. First, motivational. Second, measurement research. Motivational research means you need to understand what factors motivate consumers to buy your product or not. Measurement research is you quantify the factor through questionnaires or surveys or like that. Okay, you put. Now, focus group. Focus group is a small group where they discuss about the new product, which gives you also idea to improve. Then we are moving on to simulation. Simulation, what is simulation? It's like you're feeling the real life scenario. You are having a look of it without actually occurring. Okay, this you can do through apply probabilities to key factors in scenario analysis. You put a scenario, you assume you are in that scenario currently, presently you are in that scenario, then you are doing actions what you're supposed to do based on that scenario. So this is like prediction only, okay? You apply probability. Next, you use a random number to select a particular scenario and then calculate the outcome. Third, you repeat this, keep repeating it, because once you do it, it will not help you. You keep doing this, okay, then you will know a range of possible outcomes. You will know what is most likely, what is less likely, what is unlikely, okay, which is known as probability distribution. Fourth, then you make a decision based on the attitude to risk. Are you a risk seeker or risk averse? Are you willing to take risk or not willing to take risk? Based on that, you will take a decision. Okay. Simulation could be done in Excel also, but you're not expected to do that in your exam, okay? To run simulations and all. Now, third technique is expected value. Expected value formula is outcome into probability. The sum of outcome into the probability. Okay. Whichever is giving you the highest expected value, EV, you should select that. Advantages of using this method is calculations are simple, it takes risks into account, information is reduced to one single number. You just look at EV and decide. Okay, disadvantages is probabilities are very subjective. You need probability, right? They are subjective. And this gives you, EV gives you an average payoff. That also if the project is repeated many times. If it's for a one-off project, you cannot use EV. And EV, since it's just a single figure, it does not give you the dispersion of possible outcomes. Range of outcomes is not given. And it's unlikely that in reality you will just arrive at one outcome only. No, you might get less than or more than that. Because when it is dispersed only, you know how risky it is. Through this, you will not be able to understand. Now, next, your actual outcomes might not be what that EV figure says. Sensitivity. Okay, here you keep all the variables constant and just change one variable and see the impact on the result. Okay, that means how an estimate can change before the decision reverses. For example, you are making a profit at some price. You want to see how much price you can increase before you start making a loss. So that is the meaning of sensitivity. How much? If the percentage is very high, okay, this is calculated in terms of percentage. If sensitivity percentage is a high, what does it mean? It's good or bad? It's good. It's good. Why? For example, I will tell you a scenario. Okay, you are introducing a new product. Let's say a new phone, for example, and you are charging a price, but you're unsure. Okay, now you have charged a price, and in that you are making a profit comfortably. Now you want to see how much further you can increase the price. Okay, and you will not lose. I mean, your profit will not turn to loss. Because obviously, if you increase high prices at a time, your customer will not take it from you. They will go to your competitor. So you want to see how much price you can increase with increasing your profit. Okay. So you do a sensitivity analysis on what? On the selling price. You keep on increasing. You want to know that percentage. Okay. Let's say you got a percentage also. Now, you got a very high percentage. Let's say 40%. First, understand, interpret what 40% means if you get it in sensitivity. 40% means you have to change your selling price or increase your selling price by 40% before you can make a loss. That means profit turns to loss. 40%. In another scenario, you are getting 4%. Tell me which one is more risky, the 40% one or the 4% one? The 4% one is more risky. I will tell you how. Because it is very unlikely that your sell price will increase by 40%. Tell me in reality it will happen or not. 40% increase. Will your sell price increase by 40%? In 1 year, 2 year? No, it's unlikely. Over a long period of time it takes. Even then, even if you take 5 years also, it will not increase up to 40%. Okay. But 4% change is very likely, right? 1%, 2%, the small percentages are very likely that you are going to change your sensitivity prices by selling price by that amount. It's likely. So if you're having a high percentage, it's good, because to have a change by a higher percentage is unlikely to have in a short span of time, but small percentages are very likely to take place. For example, small percentages in the cost or in the selling price, any factor. This is how you interpret. When you go to my AFM, okay, AFM lecture, if you have seen, there also we have this term known as sensitivity analysis. We do it when we calculate net present value. There we do this on the selling price, on the cost and all. So here, there only one variable, sensitivity only one variable will change, one estimate. So can only vary one estimate at a time. That's a limitation, because in reality there are so many factors working together, right? But in this model, only one estimate will change at a time and see the impact. Next is payoff table. This is, we prepare profits. Okay, it's a table of profit based on different decision choices and different scenarios also. There are 4 different ways to make a decision. Expected value. So we choose decision that gives the highest EV. Out of this 4 method, one is EV. We have just gone through EV. Okay. So in this is the only method where probabilities are taken into account for you to take a decision. Okay. Next, maxi-max. What is maxi-max? Max is something usually seen as a positive thing. Maximum, right? People want to see that. So link the word to it. Maxi-max means optimist. Optimist means someone who sees a positive side to a story. So you choose a decision based on the most attractive upside potential. You can see what is the upside. You assume profit will increase. That is your optimist view. Okay. Even in people also, you will see there are 2 types of people we see. One is optimistic, one is the one who always think negative, is known as pessimistic. Optimist is the one who always thinks good even in hard situations. He will always think about bright, positive, upside. Pessimist, on the other hand, they always think everyone is like about the future. If you tell them what they think, their thoughts will be always negative. They are thinking something bad will happen, the plane will crash tomorrow, my business will collapse tomorrow. Everything negative only they will think. Okay. So same way here we think about the scenarios. They will think about the upside. Then the next third one, as I told you, pessimist, the opposite of optimist. They will think negative, downside. That's why they will choose the worst case scenario, most attractive worst case scenario. And the fourth one is minimax. Minimax. What is minimax? We don't have mini, okay? Maxi-max. We don't have mini-min. So don't ask me this question why it's not there, okay? Minimax, here you have to prepare what is known as regret table. You regret a decision, okay? And for each possible cell in the table, regret will be equal to actual profit compared with possible profit if the best decision would have been made. Your actual profit would be something. Maybe you didn't take the best decision. But if you would have taken the best decision, profit would be much higher. So whatever is the difference is known as regret. You regret, right? That's why it's known as regret. So you need to prepare this table. Once you prepare this table, the sole loser chooses the decision that minimizes their maximum possible regret. Minimizes. In this table, you will see the maximum possible regret, the highest regret you will have. So you choose a decision that minimizes that regret. You don't want to maximize that regret, right? Already there's a huge regret. You don't want to further maximize it. You try to minimize that regret so that less and less you have to regret. That is the meaning of it. So you choose a decision based on that. Now the last is decision tree. This is a diagrammatic representation of a problem, multi-decision problem. It's not a single problem. Okay, so in that diagram, all the possible courses of action that one can take are represented. Every possible outcome is there. Now, this decision tree is used. It's like why it is called decision tree? Because it's like a tree, branches comes out after every certain point. That's why it looks like a tree. Decision, because we make a decision based on it. Therefore, decision tree. The name is derived like that. So decision tree should be used where a problem involves series of decisions you have to take. Okay, so this decision tree will make or will force the decision maker to choose the decision based on a logical sequence of event. If this happens, then this will happen. If this happens, then this will happen. So ultimately, you are going to choose the branch which is going to give you the highest EV, expected value. You have to choose calculate EV here. So basically, the complex, a bigger problem is broken down into smaller problems in this decision tree. Now, as I told you, final outcome will be chosen on the expected value. To do that, you have to work backwards, right to left. When we draw decision tree, is left to right. When we take the decision, is right to left, roll back. Okay. So we'll be having outcome, we'll be having probability. So we keep on multiplying outcome with the probability. Now, there are three methods here. First one, step one, draw the tree from left to right, as I told you, showing the appropriate outcomes. Step two, okay, this is explained. When we draw decision tree, there are some symbols that you should know the meaning of. What is the meaning of square? That's a square. I, I, I'm assuming all of you know how a decision tree looks like, okay? You should know it when we come to this stage. When we come to the revision phase of the performance management, you should already know how a decision tree looks like. You must have already done questions on decision tree, solving questions on decision trees. Otherwise, you will not understand this. Because this stage is the last phase of your study. After everything is done, then you come to the revision phase. In case if you have not done it, you have first started watching the revision series, go back and do a question of decision tree. There you will see square. Square is your decision point. Okay, that means between different course of action you will make a choice. What is a circle? Circle is to represent a chance point. From that circle comes many branches. Okay, you will give probability to each. For example, chance of me failing if it rains. So rain is one decision, then rain, not rain, then when it rains, failing passing, not rain, failing passing. You have to assign probability. They will give you, but they will not give you all the probability. Remember, this is filling in the blank. They might give you one probability, the other one you have to find balance. It's very easy because all the probability should add up to one, not the entire decision tree. No, no, no. For example, pass fail. If 30% pass, that means 70% fail, like that. Okay, they might give you that there's a, if it rains, there's a chance of passing 30%, chance of passing the driving test 30%. They will tell like that. Then you have to understand that 70% has failed, right? So because 30 and 70 makes up 1, so probability should always add up to 1. That's how you check whether you're right or wrong. If it adds up to less than or more than 1, you're incorrect. Now, in the table, in the tree, you might have inflow or cash outflow. You have to, if it's outflow, make sure you put a bracket. Okay. Now, step 2. From right to left, you calculate EV. Then best option at each decision point. Step 3, you recommend which course of action to the management. This will be asked for you. For example, a question might say, requirement might say, recommend a course of action to management. That's the only question. But to recommend, you have to do all the steps to reach to that step. You immediately cannot start recommending without doing calculation. Even though requirement does not tell calculate, you have to calculate. Sometimes questions might not be straightforward. Sometimes they will tell you calculate and then recommend. Sometimes they just say recommend. So you have to calculate, because without calculating EV, how can you recommend? You have to think logically also, no? So yeah, that's the thing. Value of perfect information. Perfect information means it, the focus that you are doing, okay, it always gives a correct prediction. Okay, so it's good in a way. If it's imperfect, information might be correct. Okay, information can be correct also, incorrect also. So it is not as value of information. Imperfect information does not mean value of information. They're two separate things. Okay, value of information means expected profit with the information minus expected profit without the information. That is the value, how much value information is giving to you. You have to see both with the and without the information, how much is the profit. Now, questions are Game Company, Milo, Recyc, Amelie, Ketone. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in day 10. We are almost towards the end. We are covering. Okay, I think another 6 more days left to finish this entire series of revision crash course for PM. Do comment me below if you want the same revision crash course for other subjects as well, for the September exam as well as for December 2023. Comment me the name of the subject. Thank you and take care.